Okay. So can we have the first slide, please? Yeah. Okay. Next one. Yeah. So we have to understand what is basic idea about education and teaching. So one important aspect for the education, right? We are talking about innovative practices in the education sector. So why it is required? Why innovative teaching practices in education is required? The simply reason is that the education plays a significant role in economical development. So when we are speaking about economical development, so we need to understand that economical development purely depends upon the youth of the nation, right? So we as a faculty has the responsibility to guide, to teach, to direct that youth into the proper direction. So that plays a significant role in the economical development. And that's why effective teaching doesn't mean to have the sharing of content, right? Only the content sharing as per the syllabus, as per the curriculums in various colleges and university will not suffice the entire purpose of the education. But we need to come out beyond that boundaries, beyond that limit, and we need to cover the deeper technicalities and the learner progress into their life. And when we are talking about the deeper technicalities and learner progress, so that will come out from the uniqueness and the proper development, or we can say the skill development among the youth of the nations by having the innovative teaching practices that have been adopted by the faculties at various colleges and universities. So that we need to understand. Next one, please. Okay. So what is innovative teaching learning? So when we are talking about innovative, so at the beginning level, we can understand that whenever we are talking about some change or something like this, so that create a stress, that create the inability to adapt the changes into the teaching practices in comparison to the traditional teaching practices, or we can say the convenient technical teaching practices that we are following into the day-to-day life. So we need to understand that we have to define the correlation between the teachers and the stress that they have to cap up when we are talking about innovative teaching practices, right? So we have to create such an environment into the teaching practices that proper balance among the teachers and the innovative teaching practices that have been come out into the practices, so that both the fraternity on the receiving side and on the giver side, right? When we are saying about on the receiving side, so receiving side obviously are the students who are learning from us, and the giving side is the person, that is we as a faculty. We are providing a knowledge to the society. So we have to understand this particularity, and we have to find out some loopholes out of this, and we need to try to solve out those loopholes into this particular parameter. Next one, please. So types of teaching methods with its characteristics. So when we are talking about the teaching methods, so as we can see that there are two teaching methods especially, right? So first is conventional teaching methods, and the second one is non-conventional teaching methods. So when we are saying about conventional teaching methods, that is mostly we are using into the academically to teach the students nowadays, right? So when I'm saying conventional teaching methods, so conventional teaching method is covering first aspect is active student participants, right? So active student participation is must as far as conventional teaching method is concerned. Second one is less to long term knowledge. So why it is less to long term knowledge? The simple reason, the simple aspect, if I need to connect, that I'm not covering the deeper sense of the knowledge which is required to the students to survive into the market or to cope up into the day-to-day life, right? What is required? What is the skill enhancement that has been demanded by the corporates, right? That is a part which we are lacking in terms of the education. So conventional teaching is not much focusing on that particular parameter, and that's why we are saying that it is less in terms of the long-term knowledge, because they have the short-term sustainability. We are not working for the short-term sustainability into the market, but we are definitely working for the long-term sustainability, and that is what we all are focusing into the day-to-day life, right? So second one is individual study. So conventional teaching means we have just taught the syllabus to the student. Student needs to go through go at home and they just go through the homework or whatever things we have done, right? So this is not a brainstorming session, right? Nowadays knowledge sharing is must, right? So students have to discuss with each other, they have to share their knowledge. It's a give and take kind of a process, right? So it's an individual study, it's not a give and take. No discussion among the students, no discussion among the teachers. It is a one way traffic that we are following as far as conventional teaching methods are concerned. So which is not a more fruitful into the output that we are expecting from the students, the output that we are expecting from the youth of the nation as far as innovative teaching methods and practices are concerned, which we are designing for the better results and gaining a more fruitful outcomes in terms of the more concreteness and the quality of the students that we are expecting from the market. Fourth one is same topic, same time. It's like a university pattern that we have designed the syllabus for any of the faculties for a long period of time, and we are not even bothered to change those syllabus. And every year we are going through same monotonous process, like a same syllabus, same topic, same time. Timetable is same. We just came and we finished our duty and we just go out, right? So this will not have the long term sustainability, right? So we have to change those parameters. So same topic, same times, it doesn't going to work because we know that this is a technological era. Every day the changes are happening, innovations are happening, and if we stick to one particular point things, so it will not going to useful for the betterment of the students, right? So we have to, so to bring the changes into the students, first we as a faculty needs to change, we have to adapt these changes, then only we can download those changes among the students. Right. So first of all, we have to develop some acceptability in terms of the innovative teaching practices. Then only we can, give the more fruitful results to the students into the society. Now, compared to conventional teaching method, what is non-conventional teaching method? So, as we have seen that conventional teaching method is focusing on active students participants. So non-conventional teaching method is focusing on well-prepared student is must. So non-conventional teaching is saying well-prepared student is must. What does it mean? So before discussing any topic into the class, we are expecting that the student should come out with some preparation of this particular topics by for attending those lectures. So we can have the more brainstorming, more synergy into the lectures, and the audience will also have more on the receiving side from one more than one brains at a one particular point of time. So second one is not for large group of students. Why it is not for large group of students? Because it is focusing on the quality of the teaching. Limited students, but they have more brainstorming session, right? And third point is good for academically strong students, right? So we are not dealing in the mass audience as far as the non-conventional teaching are concerned. And if I'll recall or if I'll remember, there are many universities in India that has been come out who are mainly focusing on the skill development of the students, right? There are many skill development university which are called applied sciences universities that has been come out in the market, especially focusing on this parameter. They are not focusing on the mass audience, but they are focusing on the limited audience, but those who are on the qualitative part, right? So this is what it is for good for academically strong students. Fourth one, numerous choice for topic. So again, it is not a monotonous syllabus that university has designed this syllabus for this particular stream. If you want to take admission, you take it and you are going to learn on this syllabus only. This is not a part of non-conventional teaching. In non-conventional teaching, the syllabus are customized based on the market requirement, and it has been prepared by the experienced professors or something like this. So here what we have to try is students have multiple choice in which they wants to design their career, so they have the multiple options to choose their syllabus. And fifth one is based on real world scenario. This is very important. If you want to send your students to the market with good amount of package, we must ensure that they should have proper capability, enough skills and talents, along with the proper knowledge of the particular subject in which he is applying for the jobs into the market. Because the first questions that has been come out into the market in this competitive world nowadays, that why company will offer the jobs to them, right? So we need to understand this particular aspect. Okay, next one. So characteristics of both teaching method. So first conventional and the second one is non-conventional. So conventional teaching method, learning from memorization, learning is abstract, learning is theoretical. Teachers decide the course of learning, student interaction is less, and good behavior based on extrinsic motivation. This is a normal scenario that we all are practicing nowadays, right? If you can recall this, abstract means summary, theoretical designing, syllabus is already designed, right? Teachers decide the syllabus and student needs to opt for the syllabus only. They don't have a choice to select, right? Interaction is less because material is already designed. Students just go through it, learn it, appear for the exams, and finish the syllabus. And good behavior based on extrinsic motivation, right? Only extrinsic motivation is going to work here in comparison to non-conventional teaching methods. So peer assisted learning, problem based learning. So student first need to identify the problem, or we can say the purpose of opting for that particular syllabus, and accordingly they will design, they will go for the learning. Team based learning, right? As we have already discussed in non conventional teaching method, that it is purely depends on and it is purely focusing on team based learning. Students will learn the concept into the team. Might be they are going to provide the case study, live problem solving case studies, live scenario that has been provided to the students to solve out, and the exams are also conducted on the same parameter. Small group discussions, right? So group discussion, panel discussion, flipped classroom, and computer assisted method of teaching. So these are the non-conventional aspect which are considered to be essential component in this modern technological era as a part of innovative teaching methods. Next one, please. Next. Okay. So methods of teaching. So first is personalized learning. So when we are saying personalized learning, so we need to ask certain questions, that it purely depends on what, when, and how each student is taught, right? Because we are talking about personalized. So personalized means we are taking care of the interest of each and every students, those who have taken admission in our college and university. So that means rather than having a single approach, for the class, so teacher need to adjust the capabilities of each students to help them succeed. It doesn't like we are dealing in the mass and we have just taught in front of the 100 students, but we should have 20 students, and we must ensure that each and every students have understood this concept, and he or she is able to answers the things that we have taught into the class, right? And he or she should have the practical exposure, practical example, practical understanding of this particular topic. Then only we can say it is a personalized learning, right? Because concepts are clear from the bottom level, to have the proper understanding into the market. Next one. Second one is strategy of the personalized learning. So there are two strategies: blended learning and adaptive learning. When we are saying blended learning, so blended learning is student gives it gives students to more responsibility over their own learning, with the teachers functioning as a general guide and over a more discovery based learning environment. Students are allowed to choose how and at what pace they move through the content, right? So it is purely based on the student choice, student perspective. When it comes to adaptive, so collects the data from the students' responses to specific questions on a computer. Then the software uses that information to provide immediate feedback or adoption for the students, and notifies the teachers so that they can change the lesson plan accordingly. So the basic difference between these two is blended learning is purely on one way focus. Teacher have just taught the students, and they are not concerned about whether they have understood, whether they have adopted or not. While in case of adaptive learning, on the one way teacher have already taught to the students, and they will also take the feedback from the students, what are the problems, difficulties, or areas of improvement for the teachers for the coming time. So this is called adaptive learning. Next one, please. Okay, project based learning. So project based learning requires students to identify a real world problem and then devise a solution. So here it's not a theoretical aspect, or we can say it's not a theoretical learning. Here in this case, what teacher needs to do? Teacher needs to provide a real world case. Teacher has to provide a real world problem to the students, and they will ask to the students to sort out this problem by their own understanding, by their own techniques, through which they can sort it out from the theoretical concept they have already learned from the classes. So that's why it built on the development of specific transferable skills such as research, critical thinking, problem solving, and cooperation. Why these parameters will be developed among the students? Because in this particular learning method, we are allowing students to think on the concept that they have already learned from their particular fields, right? So they will be able to do this. They will be able to, or you can say they capable to identify the problems, prospects, area of improvements, probable solutions of this particular topic. This is what the project based learning, right? And that's why it is called an active form of learning among the students by gaining a specific experience, by providing some areas of implementations of the particular knowledge rather than just a memorization, right? It's not like that students will mug up the concept and do right in the papers or university exams, but students needs to provide their own solution, their own thinking, right, their own views, right? So this is why teaching with this method links students and schools to their communities and the outside world. Why? Because everyone will share their own experience on the single topic. So at a one particular time, we have a multiple solutions among the different students. So students will come out with some factors for which they are aware. On the contrary, there are another more factors for which they are not aware, right? So it's a knowledge gaining session. It's a knowledge sharing session among the students by providing their real thinking capabilities, right? So this is why it is a demonstrating how all these disciplines are interlinked and creating opportunities to experience learning facing real situations rather than contrived examples, right? So it's a real world situation, real world example, and through which students are asked to provide a probable solution as per their own thinking and their own judgment. So it will create some analytical powers among the students, and that's why this method is to more importance, having more weightage into the real world situation. And nowadays all the universities, all the management fields, computer science fields are focusing on much more on this particular parameter, and especially those who are going for the PhD or research based project. So this is one of the important parameter that you have to provide your own problems, and you need to identify your own solutions also for the area for which you are going to do the research. So this is what is called project based learning. Next one. Okay, the third method is Jigsaw. Now what is Jigsaw? So Jigsaw is tried and true cooperative learning techniques that capitalize on this idea by having students teach other students. This is very important, right? अभी तक हमने जितनी भी the till now the methods that we have seen till now is like a teacher and students relationship, right? Teachers are teaching, students are gaining the knowledge, but this is something extraordinary that teachers are not much involved, but it is a student to student process. Now how it is this? So students are split into group. Now this is a group based study. When we are talking about Jigsaw method, so Jigsaw is basically focused on the group study. Now each group is given distinct information that they must learn well enough to teach to another group. So each group will give some problems, will give some assignments for which they have to prepare their groups. And this one, and once the group has been prepared, they have prepared their content. They have to deliver their knowledge, their problem prospects to the group in terms of learning, or we can say teaching, right? Learning and teaching. Fine. Now each individual members then discuss what they have learned, bringing the teaching to life, and allowing students to build their learning by interacting with one another and the content, right? So once each group has prepared, they have downloaded their content, they have downloaded their experience, they have downloaded their solutions to the other group, and once they have downloaded through the group, so out of that group also, they will take certain suggestions, certain opinions of that particular group on this particular topic, right? So it's a knowledge sharing session. So as you can see on the diagram itself, right? So home group, expert group, and home group, right? So how it is that? So there is one expert group to whom the topic has been given. Now this group will prepare the content on this particular topic, right? Now this topic they will download to the home group, right? So they will download their experience, their knowledge to the home group. That is the second one, right? And this home group will download to the another group, means there is an interaction between these two groups after having the interaction with the expert group, right? So these two home groups will teach among each other, they will share their knowledge among each other. So there is a high synergy of the knowledge sharing among the students in this particular innovative teaching methods when we are talking about it. The only cons to this method is, means there is only one loopholes, which we can say that when the expert is a group misinterprets facts or is not able to teach others well. So only cons of this particular method is when the expert of the group is not able to identify the real purpose of that particular topic, or he might be misinterpret that particular concept and deliver a wrong knowledge to the home groups, then that might be this method is going to not able to serve the purpose for which it has been designed. So this is the only loopholes for the jigsaw method. Otherwise, it's a group learning among the students. So it's a very good innovative teaching practices. We can say that. Next one. Okay. Fourth one is asking open-ended questions. So asking open-ended question means this is very important things, right? Asking open-ended, we have learned, we have heard this terminology, open-ended and close-ended questions. Open-ended and close-ended questions. So open-ended questions are when we are asking the questions to the students, when we are asking questions to the students, that is open-ended, right? What is your opinion? What is your thought? What you feel? So student often place too much reliance on finding the one right answer in their textbook versus thinking outside the box. So teachers should promote lively in class discussion by asking open-ended questions, those which have multiple possible solutions. Now we all are going through, the research. So there are two type of questions which we are asking when we are doing a survey. One is open-ended question and one is close-ended question. So when we want to restrict our study up to limited number of answers, so we usually prefer to go with the close-ended questions. But when we want to make our platform open for the discussion to the audience, we usually ask the questions, and we are allowing the freedoms to the respondent to give the answer as per their own choice, as per their own convenience, and as per their own thoughts or expressions that they want to express in terms of it. So same way, we are asking open-ended questions to the students for the learning in this particular parameters only. So teachers should promote lively in this class discussion. So whenever we have a qualitative aspects of things, when we want to discuss some qualitative concept into the class among the students, like what is your opinion towards the GST, right? And once we make our class open, so there are ample number of answer, thoughts, experience, that will be come out from the each and every students of the class, right? So this is called an open-ended discussion, and through which we can make the students to learn this particular topic rather than having only bookish knowledge or a booking concept that we wants to deliver. So students can put together cohesiveness elements based on their own knowledge as well as present information to piece together a solution, right? So at the time one student cannot understand, or when we can understand that one student cannot know the all the aspects and parameters of the GST, right? So there is a group brainstorming among the students, so through which they have some knowledge gaining among the different audiences on which they are discussing the parameters, and through which they can jot down this point of GST, and this is how we can learn this concept in the open-ended questions. So this can help students not just to find their voice, but also to express themselves and support their reasoning. So there are multiple benefits out of this particular technique. One is we can have the level of students for which we are dealing. Second, we are allowing audience to share the platforms. Third, we are removing the stage fears. Fourth, we are providing them confidence that yes, you are the youth of the nation, and you should definitely have your own opinion, and you should have your expressive ability, what you are saying. So we are definitely helping them to build the confidence as and when they need to face the stages in the future. So this is very important, innovative methods in this today's scenario, that asking open-ended questions and let the audience to speak what they feel. So next one. So next one, flipping classroom. So flipping the classroom. So what is flipping the classroom? So standard lectures are set aside in favor of class time spent on research, application, and assessment to better connect learners and their needs. Outside of class, students study topics by reading, watching short pre-recorded videos, lectures, or researching tasks. Right. So flipping the classroom means, as you can see in this picture, you don't just restrict them to the whiteboard and the four walls of the classroom, but you should change the parameter of the classroom and let them allow to go beyond the classroom for having much more precise knowledge by studying the real market scenario, by asking the questions into the market, and they need to find out the various solutions for the concept that they have learned into the real life picture. So this will be a more fruitful and more knowledge gaining sessions for them. And that's why it has been said that the standard lectures are set aside in favor of class time spent on research, application, so real time applications of the concept. Right, we have learned particular concept, that is okay, but what is the actual usage of this particular concept, that should be known from the students. And that is how the real purpose of the providing knowledge, or to providing educations to the students, will going to suffice. Outside of class, students study topics by reading, watching short pre-recorded video lectures, and researching tasks, right? So if we have given some tasks to the students, just go through and identify what is the opinion of the MSME producer or market to have the impact of GST on their business. So rather than letting them to know about this concept into the four wall of classroom, let the students to allow to go into the market, have some interactions with the MSME businessman. Let them ask to the various parameters of the GST that they have already gone through into the classroom, and they will came to know the real scenario of the perception of the MSME businessman, or you can say the MSME sector, towards the implementation of GST on their business. So as and when the students come out with this preparation into the classroom, and the synergy of the knowledge sharing among each of the group will be immense. Like it is more than, or you can say it is more beyond the classroom teaching that we are following, right? So flipping the classroom, this is one of the important parameters in today's scenario, that we should allow students to go into the real world and identify the scenario. Then class time is used to assist students in working through the content in groups or individually during active learning, emphasizing complex reasoning and problem solving skills, right? So flipping classroom is providing this much capability and abilities to the students to go through the various skill development, and to provide various solutions to the real world problems. So this is what it's all about, flipping the classroom. Next one, QR codes, right? This is the most innovative teaching methods that each and every faculty has gone through into the COVID-19 time period, right? Where we were not able to meet, physically to each other. There was no physical classroom was going on, and the entire study was carried out through the online mode, right? So this is one of the method that we have mostly used into the COVID time period. So QR code, how QR code can be utilized into the real world teaching, right? So QR code are simple to develop and have several applications in classroom of all grade levels, right? If I'll recall, during the COVID time period, if I'm not wrong, so before COVID time period, who was knowing about Google Meet? Who was knowing about Microsoft Team? Who was knowing about Zoom? No one, right? Even we don't know whether these things are possible to connect each audience with each other and have the learnings, right, in India. So no, before that I was not knowing, right? And probably most of the faculties are not aware about this particular times. And if I'm not wrong, so this QR code through which in COVID time period, we have also utilized this QR code as a part of the assignment submission, to take a quiz, to take the exams, to provide the results to the students, right? Its QR code has provided immense facilities, and this QR code is also utilized for the payments one also, right? So QR codes are simple to develop and have several applications in classroom of all grade levels, right? So if you are dealing with multiple grade level students like first standard, second standard, right, FY, SY, TY, right? So for having different QR codes for all them, we can create a QR code for the WhatsApp group as well, right? So within a fraction of second, within a fraction of time period, we can segregate the entire audience of the college or university, and we can park them at their proper place through which he wants to go through it, right? So before this COVID period, I think we were doing this process on a physical mode, but thanks to the COVID-19, that we are now prone to use this technology. We are prone to use this innovative teaching methods and teaching and learning methods, which makes our work so easy and more smoothen the process, right? Otherwise, when we are dealing into the mass audience, so it is very difficult, but thanks to this technologies, that makes our work easy, and students can access all the information by sitting at home, and to have the access or to follow the guidelines, and accordingly they can process for the further study. So QR codes are simple to develop and have several applications in classroom of all grade levels. So QR codes can direct students to information simply by scanning the codes with a digital device, right? So QR code simply provide the information to the students. Now how the students will get the information? So they have to scan through this lenses of Google. So they will get all the links that has been attached with this QR code, and accordingly they can process for either for joining WhatsApp group, either to have to getting a link for the MCQ questions, to get the links for the assignments and all this. And that's why it has been mentioned here that students can utilize the QR codes for examine the responses, right? Cast votes for solution to the problem. If some person is conducting some survey, or there are certain survey or response forms which has been provided from the college or university, so students can fill out those particular forms by scanning this QR code and provide their responses to this particular questions. Third one, extend the scope of materials found in the textbook. Right. So textbook has some limitations. Textbook have some boundaries to share the knowledge among the students. Textbooks only provide the theoretical aspect, but the practical scenario, live example, live demonstration, that could not be provided through the textbook. But student needs to go for beyond the textbook, and that is possible through access of various websites, and these websites can be accessible through the QR code as well. Obtain survey data for maths units, but I think we usually prefer this particular things. Even if you people have joined this FDP program, so IoT has already provided this scanner through which you can have your payment of fees, and you can connect with the FDP courses over here as well by following the links to join. So this is what is possible by sitting at the various places in India, but we are now connected in one platform. So this is possible through the ICT tools, and that provides the innovative teaching methods to the students. Take parts in scavenger hunts, right? Matlab, if you are going for some quiz or something, so this is also possible. Access video tutorials on a subject. Yes, if you have some QR code for the YouTube videos or something. So by scanning this QR code, you can have the access of these videos as well. And last one, the connect to the Google Maps for lessons where geographically is important. Even you can have, the scanner for the Google Map as well. So everything you can get it from the QR code, right? So QR code has, make it possible everything within this particular picture. If you scan it, you will get it what exactly this QR code is covering. So this is what its QR code. Next one, inquiry based teaching learning. So simply asking a students what he or she wishes to learn, right? So in spite of throwing the contents to the students, we should ask to the students what is their requirement to learn from us, right? So the main purpose of this particular teaching method is to create some curiosity among the audience in terms of students, to engage them into the material, right? So when we are asking to the students that what you want to learn, so students may have some curiosity why this faculty is asking, what he wants to say, what he wants to connect for this particular things, right? So simply teaching is a possibility for everyone, but to create some impressions, to create some interest among the students is also the necessary in this today's scenario. And this is the responsibility of each and every faculties nowadays, to create some curiosity. You have to tighten the audience in terms of the interest of the concept. You should provide the detailed concept. You should create some environment into the classroom so that audience should get engaged. The audience should get connected to your concept, right? So stimulating a student's curiosity is a far more essential, right? So yes, we have to stimulate their curiosity and challenging tasks than simply delivering facts. So to deliver simple facts is more easiest task rather than having interaction, rather than creating a curiosity among the audience, is very much essential to download the concept, to download the objective that you want to serve into the market, right? So this is very essential. Students' cognitive talents can be used to develop a good understanding of all the subjects while making connection to everybody's life. Right. So students' cognitive knowledge and talents can also be used to understand all the knowledge and concept into their day-to-day life. Last one, students are given the freedoms to form their own opinions on what they are studying, permitting them to develop a greater knowledge of a subject than through rare memorization and recalling the data, right? So simply mug up the concept and the data. We are allowing to the students to provide their opinions, right? We are allowing them to share their knowledge on the particular topic, and based on that, we are making some inquiry based teaching and learning. So students will ask us and we will provide the solution. At the same time, we are creating a curiosity by asking some questions to the students, and students will try to answer the questions, or student will try to understand the exclamatory statement that we have provided at the time of providing the education to the students, right? So this is ongoing sessions for all of us, inquiry based teaching methods. Next one. So this is what the entire cycle when we are talking about inquiry based teaching learning process. So it start with ask. So it will ask the question, students will ask the question, investigate the questions, right? Means they'll try to provide research problem, and they are probably hunting for providing the probable solution of the problem. So we have to create, means we have to gain the knowledge from the market. We have to create a bunch of the knowledge from the market. Then we have to discuss that particular bunch of knowledge, the probable solution of the problem that we have derived from the market among each other. And finally, we need to derive what is the best suitable solution for the society, for the market, and that would be reflected. And then again, we'll start with again the next question. So it's a psychological process, inquiry based, right? One query will be solved. Based on that, again a new query will come out. Again, it will be solved, and so on, right? So this is very impressive and innovative way of teaching learning method, that is inquiry based learning. There is much more brainstorming, much more knowledge sharing. There are a lot of questions that has been raised over here, and at the same time there are a lot of probable solutions that will be come out in the market that we are hearing for the first time. So definitely we should encourage our students, to have the inquiry based learning where they can provide their own probable solution, and we can create the ability among the students to think over the particular concept, and to have the best fitted solutions of that particular problem. So that is what we need to focus on it. Next one. Okay, then culturally inclusive teaching. What is culturally inclusive teaching? So teaching can be difficult due to students coming from various cultural backgrounds with diverse needs. Definitely, in the today's world, we have the mix of cultures, and we have to take care of the requirement of each and every students in terms of the culture and every aspect. We should not hurt the sentiments of even a single students that are coming out into the classes, right? So we have to respect the cultures of everyone. We need to understand the needs of each students, and accordingly we need to provide the probable solution to the each students, right? So, and why it is required, why it is required to understand each and every students in that particular detailed manner. So the simple answer for this question is each students are unique, right? Each students have their own hopes, their own dreams, and for which they wants to acquire educational knowledge differently, right? Each and every students that are coming out into the classes, they have the different objective, different purpose to attend the classes. Although the things are similar, but the objective and purpose to attend the classes are different. In a simple layman language, if I'm taking one example, that's one person is doing MBA courses. So there might be a reason that one person is doing an MBA to learn the how to do the business, and another person is doing an MBA to have the good jobs into the market. So the purpose may get deferred, and accordingly, we have to provide the probable solution, and we need to take care each and every students with respect. So culturally inclusive education connects the subject matters to the culture of the students, establishing a personal connection, right? So teachers can get to know the students, their cultures, their backgrounds, from where they are coming out, basic cultural information. So, to have the interactions with differently cultured people will definitely share their own cultures, their background, their taste, their preferences, their cultural information, right? And these things are going to be shared with providing some live examples, live demonstration, and exercises to connect their study topics to different cultures, right? So they will also try to establish, or you can say they will try to bridge the gap between the different cultures of the students, that they have noticed around their, classes. So they will also try to adopt their own cultures. At the same time, they will also try to adopt the cultures of other if they fail to adopt. At the same time, the same process is going to the opposite party as well. So it's a win-win situations for all to have the learn about culturally different people, and to have to learn the new culture, new habits, and the new things into the classroom. So culturally inclusive teaching is very useful. Note that incorporating different culture must be done deliciously and in a manner that respect and promotes diversity in the classroom. This is very important. If the things are not going into the way which we are expecting, or there are some herds of sentiments among each other with differently cultural people, then it will create a chaos. So, culturally inclusive teaching should be handled with care by the faculties, with the students, right? Because if something is not going well, it creates a problem for sure. And that's why incorporating different cultures must be done deliciously, right? And delicately, right? And in a manner that respect and promote diversity in the classroom. So we must ensure that all the communities, all the cultural people, they respect each other. There should not be some abusive things, or there are certain words which they hurts their culture, their sentiments, their to their elders. So this is what we need to take care, and it should be a healthy classroom environment, and we must download in the minds of students that we are all here to learn the culture and good things among each other rather than hurting to each other, right? And that's why you can see in this diagram, the culturally inclusive classroom means we need to adopt the good things among the different cultures, right? So this is what it is. Next one. So flexible learning environment. So how flexible learning environments can be provided to the students? So flexible classroom can be created. So teachers should know how to use their classrooms for different instructional approaches. So there are certain ways. If there are certain faculties or certain teachers who are confident enough, to teach to the students. So usually you must mark this particular things that they are covering the entire platform of the classes, right? But means they are not sticking to the one particular corner of the classes, but they should roam around into the entire classes. Or might be it is not required to roam around to the entire classes, but yes, you should have the cover up of the stages where you can cover up the entire audience, right? So your hold should be with the entire audience. That is called flexible classroom, right? So you should have the control of the classroom in your own hands. That's, and for example, when teachers are willing to change the furniture around in the classroom, they may discover that it is a critical variable for boosting students learning, right? So you need to set up your classroom in such a way that your hold on the students should be must, right? And you should cover up each and every students properly, with the proper eye contacts, and providing a proper environment, or to the students. So as education has changed, the classroom space must allow opportunities for students to work alone, communicate with their peers, and collaborate, right? So as education has changed, so classroom space must allow opportunities for students to work alone, right? They need to provide some space, some privacy to the students. They need to communicate with their peers, means their elders, their relatives, their guardians, and they have to have some collaborative approach among these practices. So many classroom todays are still packed, cluttered, and noisy environment that makes it difficult for kids to move about, inducing communication breakdowns and other barriers to concentrate and understanding. So simple meaning over here is, if the proper environment, classroom for classroom structured are not designed as per the requirement of the proper learning environment, so this kind of classrooms are going to fail to attract the most of the audience at the time of teaching by the faculties. So usually what happens, the synergy, the power, the environment that we are expecting by using the innovative teaching practices are not going to suffice, right? So flexible learning environment means it is applicable to us also. When we are flexible enough to work, we can provide more productivity rather than having some hectic and monotonous jobs, that we are going through on a day-to-day basis. So learning environments should maintain fluidity to facilitate one-on-one learning, collaboration, free thinking, and group debates. So flexible learning environments can be created by providing the following facilities to the students. That is one-to-one learning, right? Means focusing on each and every students in the classroom. They should have the collaborate with each other. They have some collaboration. They have some interactions with each other. Free thinking, yes, definitely we should allow them particular topic. to provide their opinions on this particular topics. And the last parameter of this particular identifying is it was disconnected. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And the last thing is free thinking and group debates, right? So we should allow the students, group of students, to have the discussion on the particular topic as a part of their curriculum, and let them allow to provide their open, opinion into that particular topic. So next one. So I think that's it. So these are the references that through which I have taken this content. So the class is open for the discussion if any questions are there.